Hey, what's up? We are live. Now, while I fix some of my settings, and I apologize about my camera going in and out, but we're going to fix some of these settings because, again, we're live and there's a couple of things that I have to do. But first of all, I want to say hello, welcome. And what we're talking about tonight is very, very important because these questions were actually submitted by subscribers. All right, so we're doing a credit sweep Q&A tonight. And why is this important? Well, it is important because you submitted the questions, right? Okay, so we are almost done. We are almost there. Very first thing that I want to let you know is that you should probably smash the like. If you smash the like, it's going to let me be happy. It's going to let Google be happy, and it's going to allow other people to visit my channel. And there's nothing wrong with that. All right, so I believe we are almost there. Okay, so first of all, again, welcome. Second, I hope you are having a great week. We're trying something new with this where, again, there's probably questions that you have that you really, really, really want to get answered. And what you can do is if you have a burning question or something that you absolutely need to know for credit sweeps, credit repair, how to remove negative items from your credit report, so on and so forth, make sure that you go and post them on any one of my videos. All right. And again, I apologize about my camera. I'm using a different one tonight. See how it works out. All right. So we have a couple of questions that we're going over, and I will probably want to let you know what these questions are beforehand. All right. So we're going to be talking about how to send a validation of debt to a debt buyer, not a regular third-party debt collector, but a debt buyer, and why this is important, how to correct 120-day late payments on your credit report, how to remove late, and the difference. I don't know if I want to go over this one, but the difference between credit repair and credit sweep, that's a whole shebang in itself. So we're probably not going to go over that one. Why not to use identity theft? That one is pretty self-explanatory. If you are not a victim of identity theft, you should not be using it. Okay, so we're not going to go over that. How to dispute the right way and removing or disputing student loans. Okay, so again, I might not go over all of these, but there's very, very specific things that people ask me, and that is why we're doing this. It is very, very important for you to submit your questions so that it can be part of this, right? So how to VOD a debt buyer. And again, smash that like, subscribe if you haven't done so. And just so you know, if you do need help fixing your credit report, you want to increase your credit scores, you want to remove your negative items, then head over to my740.com, schedule a call with me, and I will see if a credit sweep is something that I personally can do for you, because I believe that you should not be giving up your basic consumer rights by not seeing what you're paying for. And guess what? There's only a handful of us that actually give the copies of the disputes. And when I say us, it's because there's only like 3 companies in the nation, and I'm one of them. So if you actually want to see what you're paying for, then hey, head over to my740.com, schedule that call, and I'll see if I will see if I can help. All right, so let's go over to how to VOD a debt buyer. Now, what does that mean? That means how to send a validation of debt to a debt buyer. Well, first of all, don't. Second of all, don't. And third, don't. Now, if it is outside the statute of limitations or you don't owe anything on it, you're not worried about them taking you to court, then hey, you know what? All right. I'll give that one to you. Maybe you can send a validation of debt to them and see if you can get it off that way. Now, do I remove or dispute debt buyer collections that way? No, I do not. Why? Because you're putting yourself in the limelight. Let's say that you owe money. You owe 10,000, you owe 15,000, you owe however many thousands or hundreds of dollars. You're going to be putting yourself right in front of them and saying, I'm trying to fix my credit. I'm trying to get my life together. Sue me, right? You don't want to do that. Now, yes, there are laws that are this camera is so annoying right now. There are laws that are put in place so that you don't have to worry about retaliation and all of that. But I mean, if you really don't want to be having to worry about that, then just don't do it. You should not be sending out a validation of debt to a debt buyer. It should be going out to a third party debt collector. Like, I don't know, you went to the hospital, you didn't pay your bill, you didn't pay Progressive for your car insurance or your motorcycle insurance, or stuff like that. Those are the ones that, hey, send them out. send them out. There's specific letters and you'll get them off. It'll be really, really quick and you won't have to worry about that, right? Now, am I saying that they're not going to take you to court? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm also not an attorney. I'm not here to legally advise you. I'm here to tell you what works for me, what works for my clients, and what works in my dispute process, all right? Now, I do not ever, ever dispute directly with a debt buyer. Who's a debt buyer? Well, an example of this would be Portfolio Recovery or Midland or Second Round or Calvary. Okay. So what they do is they purchase these booklets. Let's just say like, I don't know, 2,000 accounts at a time or whatever. And, you owe Capital One or you owe whoever. Now, because your original agreement was with Capital One or whatever, when you didn't pay them, you agreed that they could sell it to whoever the heck they want to. And now your legal obligation is going to be with them. All right. Now, I don't want to hear about how, oh, you have no contract with them and blah, blah, blah. Dude, if it worked like that, there wouldn't be the debt collection industry. Okay. There wouldn't be lawsuits. There wouldn't be, consumer courts and laws, whatever. Just don't do it. Don't try to use the whole I have no contract with you, because you're just going to be wasting time and we don't have time to waste. Okay. So who do you use this on? Well, again, that is only on a third party debt collector, like they're collecting on behalf of the hospital. They're collecting on behalf of T-Mobile. They're collecting on behalf of AT&T, okay? Those are the ones, like I said, that you can send them out until your eyes turn white and roll up in the back of your head. I don't care. Those are the ones that you're going to be able to remove really, really quickly, all right? Now, what do you do if, it was actually asked on a call today, what do you do if you did submit a VOD and, it came back as, verified as accurate, and now you want to do it the right way because you didn't realize that you did it incorrectly? What do you do? Well, first of all, you're not going to send out another one of those letters. Second, you're going to dispute directly with the credit bureaus themselves. And the specific information that you're looking for, I have tons of videos on. So if you go to my main channel, you go to youtube.com/ask-Kristen, you use that little keyword search, you're going to put in portfolio or debt buyer or Midland, and you're going to be able to pull up all of my videos on how to dispute those the right way. We are looking for factual information, knowing exactly how something should and should not be reported. And that is how we get these things off, okay? Looking for, the past due on a collection, looking for late payments in the payment history, looking for the limit. These things should not be on an account like this. And that, my friend, is how you remove those. All right. So how to correct 120 days late? Well, here's the thing. You can't. You cannot tell me that you can correct 30, 60, 90, 120 days late. You can't do it, dude. You can't do it. You're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Don't even bother. Your only option is to A, leave it alone entirely, or B, dispute for removal of the entire account. Now, you may be wondering, well, what if it's my oldest account? What if I'm worried that it's going to drop my credit score? Well, now you have to be looking at all the different aspects of your credit report, right? Like, am I going to be able to get further by leaving it on there, or am I going to be able to get further by, disputing and removing it? Most of the time, you're going to want to dispute for removal, because we can always go and flesh out our credit. We can always go and increase our credit scores. We can always go and get more credit and make it look better. And eventually, over time, your credit is going to be significantly better than if you had left it there just because you're worried about some stupid numbers. Okay. So what do you do when it's like 30, and then you were on time for like a year, and then you were like 60 days late, and then you were on time for like 4 months, and then, you were, I don't know, another 30. Well, you can correct a handful of those late payments, but you're not going to be able to correct all of those other late payments. So my recommendation in an example like that, would be to go after your oldest late payments in bunches of 4, get those removed, go after the next one, get those removed, go after the next one. So eventually you're either going to have no late payments, or you're going to just have a few. And, that's going to be a lot better than leaving all of those late payments on there that are just sporadically listed, okay? Now, otherwise, you're going to want to remove the entire account. Like I said, how do you do that? Well, there's many ways that you can remove accounts that have late payments. You're going to go after them and treat them as if they are a charge-off, okay? How do you remove charge-offs? Well, I'm so glad that the person who specifically asked that question asked it. I have playlists, I have videos, I have so many resources for you that shouldn't have even been a question if you've been following me for the amount of time that you claim that you've been following me for, okay? How do you remove charge-offs? Well, we go down the hierarchy. We're looking at the evolution line method. We're looking at the squeaky wheel method. We're looking at the dispute funnel. There's so many different ways and flows and strategies that we have to be able to remove charge-offs, okay? So we are going to skip the difference between credit repair and credit sweeps. That's a whole video by itself. We already did a one-liner on why you shouldn't be disputing using identity theft. Look, dude, there's millions of people that utilized it when they weren't supposed to. And if you are not a victim of identity theft, you should not be claiming that you are. You can do 6 months in jail for fraud. Now, I'm not going to point any fingers. I'm not going to say any names, but I am going to let you know that there was actually someone, a business owner, actually, a female who was arrested, and you can look this up yourself and find out the same information, but she was arrested for a multi-million-dollar scheme where she was actually submitting or creating these police reports on behalf of her clients and going about it that way. And now we're talking about federal court, okay? So that person, if they are, found guilty and all that kind of stuff, the way that, that normally works, they're looking at a lot of time and a lot of fines, okay? So now if you are the consumer, you can have those cops knocking at your door and you can be doing 6 months in jail for fraud. So my recommendation is if you're not a victim, stay away from it. There is no such thing as the bureaus helping you to remove this stuff. If you actually are a victim of fraud, I don't even do the identity theft method that way. I mean, in that case, you're probably going to spend about like 2 years going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm a victim of fraud. No, you're not. I'm a victim of fraud. No, you're not. I'm a victim of fraud. No, you're not. Prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. I literally had someone, the last time that I did that method, it was back in 2016, and we spent 2 years with hundreds of pages of documentation proving that she was a victim of fraud. We got everything off, but dude, 2 years when she was an actual victim. So, I mean, now imagine that you are not, and you're just trying to scam the system, right? I mean, fill in the blanks there, okay? So don't do it, all right? It's not worth it. And when you get caught lying, it's not going to look good for you. It's not going to be good for anybody, okay? Now, let's talk about if you've been following me, you should already know how to dispute the right way, using factual-based disputes, using Metro 2, using the information taken directly from your credit report. There should be no identity theft. There should be no templates. There should be no, pursuant tos, and Congress says this, that, and the third. We're using the information that the Bureau's creditors and collectors report themselves to remove your negative information, right? And they can argue until their faces turn blue and they roll over and just, drop dead. But the truth about it is these pieces of information that we're using to back our arguments work because it's fact, okay? So as much as they don't want to, they eventually have to, and we end up building our paper trail, which goes and, we use it to build our case to remove everything basically except for child support, okay? Now, the last thing that we're talking about tonight is how to remove student loans. I actually have a mini course. I did not put the link in the description. It was a very short description tonight, but I do have a how to remove or correct student loans course that you can find at vault, VAULT my740.com. I think it's like $10. So if you have student loans, this is definitely something that you are going to want to go check out, because I go step by step how to dispute for updating and dispute for removal. Now, what's the difference between the two of those? One is where you are correcting the late payments that are on the account, such as 30, 60, or 90 days. The other one is where you're removing the entire account itself from the credit report using the credit sweep factual dispute method. All right. So one is going to still be there, but it's going to magically appear that you did not pay late. And the other one is where someone goes and pulls your credit report and they no longer see that it's on there. All right. So why is it important that we remove the student loans from our credit report? Well, most of the time you are going to have, I don't know, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. This is America, right? Thousands of dollars in debt. I mean, we're not like in Cuba or whatever, or in other countries where you can go to college for free. This is America and they charge us for everything, right? So what that basically means is that this is going to be used against you. You are going to have all of this debt, regardless of whether you went to school or not, reported on your credit report that is going to be used against you in the event that you want to get a mortgage. You want to go and you want to get a car. You want to do all these different things, right? So we need to find the reason that the account does not belong on your credit report, and then use it for removal. So things that we are looking for is, it's actually one specific thing. I'm going to give you a little bit of a secret here. What we're looking for is late payments beginning at 90 days late. All right. It should not report like that. And my camera is really, really pissing me off. So I apologize. It should not report like that. It should be reported as 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180 days late. And then obviously there's a flow after that for reporting. If it begins at 90 days late with no prior late payments, I don't care that this is the way that they report you. They're doing you a solid by not reporting you as late until you are 90 days late. However, according to the FCRA and the way that your credit report should be reported, it's not supposed to report that way. Late payments do not work like that. So we actually use this to remove or correct your credit report. Okay. Now, in the event that you want to remove these late payments, let's say that you have two 90-day late payments. Let's just say you have one. Okay, I don't want to confuse you. You have one 90-day late payment on your student loan with Nelnet or Navient. We are going to go after that 90-day late payment, and we're going to let them know that this needs to be corrected for an accuracy because there's no 30 or 60-day late payments, which means that the two prior on-time payments prior to that 90-day late payment is actually inaccurate. Now, they're not going to go and fix those two on-time payments prior to the 90-day late payment. No. They don't do that. What they do is they entirely remove that 90-day late payment from your credit report. So when we go and we dispute it for removal, we're telling them to delete for inaccuracy because this 90-day late payment is on there without prior late payments. And when we go to correct it, we're doing the same thing, except for we're not telling them to delete it, we're telling them to correct it, okay? So if you have questions, there's very specific things that you want to know about, make sure that you go to any one of my other videos because I turn off the chat when I'm doing a live broadcast because there's very specific things that I already want to talk about. And I'm not trying to have to moderate any, chat or whatever, right? So head over to any of my other videos and let me know what you specifically want to know about. And maybe I will include it in my next live, okay? But that was it. Today we went over how to dispute a debt buyer collection using the validation of debt method, and the answer to that was don't. We also went over how to correct 120-day late payments, which you can't, why you shouldn't use identity theft, and student loans. All right. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. Again, if you have not done so already, make sure to smash that like, subscribe if you haven't done so. Dude, it is free for me to provide this information to you. It's free for you to smash that like and subscribe. Okay. And I see the amount of people that actually watch my videos, but do not subscribe. All right. So, that is it. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope you have a great week. And if you haven't checked out my credit repair software yet, the Credit Suite, head over to, you know what? I might want to drop a banner on here that has it. So let me just give you the link. Let me move had my questions right here that were submitted by my subscribers. Okay, I'm going to give you the link right now. So if you want to check out the credit repair software, check out the credit repair software. Typing it out right now for you at https:// It is linksshort.com/buy suite. All right, I'm going to put that one on here. I'm going to get rid of this one and I'm going to show you this one. All right, so if you want to figure out how to remove your negative items from your credit report, but you need a little bit of assistance with it and you don't want me to do it for you because you still want to be in control of it, or you have your own clients who you want to work on yourself, head over to linksshort.com/buy suite and you can check out all of the awesome features that I have on there for you. And that is now it for this evening. I hope you have a great one. I will see you later. I'm going to stop rambling and bye. That is it. Bye, 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 bye.